Hello, this is Cynthia Ortiz. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcast. It is July 4th, 2023. And yesterday's podcast, we talked about Mr. Perry typing in my phone 40 times. I'm going to have you pulled over again. Golly. Okay, so he did try that. See, I sent that out at 3:56 p.m. Even sent it right to them. We know. I get a DoorDash order, and I go take it. As I'm walking the order to the person's front door, my guy goes, listen to this. They're giving a description of your car to someone, which they shouldn't have. The allegations are felony stalking, human trafficking, coercion, witness tampering, attempted murder, obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, perjury, after perjury, after perjury, after perjury. All of that is illegal. You are not to contact me, Mr. Perry. You're not to peep. You're a voyeur also. So there's a lot of things you couldn't know if you were not a voyeur, like when I'm working and where I'm going to be at any given time. He goes, they're giving a descriptor right now. So, which they shouldn't have the description of your car. They got that illegally. So keep an eye out. So I take the food to the door, pull out of the street, and I was on the campus of Tulsa University, and my guy goes, there he is right there. There's your guy right there. So he goes, just sit there for a minute. Sure as shit, he was across at a stop sign. He's sitting there, I'm sitting there, we're waiting, both of us. My guy goes, just hang for a minute. So I'm hanging. And then he goes, I'm going to get a wiretap order on that guy right there. We talked about this all fucking day. That he was going to try to have you pulled over. They want to get a positive ID. They want information on your car. Just same thing Lucky complained about that they would ask them to do. And they want to check your insurance, see when it's due, make sure you don't pay it on time. Then when it's canceled, pull you over again and take your car away. Charles is trying to traffic you. That's how he thinks he can do it. We're the ones quoting you every day. We're naming your people. Wait, what do you think they're going to do with all that information? You guys are fucking retards. I mean, it's so easy, it's not even fair. You know we had it. I sent it right to your attorneys. Stop doing this shit. Stop harassing me. And it's illegal. And you do it anyway. So my guy's like, just sit there. Okay, now go. I go, and I'm like, he's following me. He goes, yep, I'm sitting here watching him. So he watched the guy follow. He printed up the wiretap order that he typed out while we were doing all that. It's already been signed. Now he's in it. He goes, I got 20 things I'm going to charge every single one of these guys involved in this on that one event. And this is one of a gazillion things that they have tried to do to you to force you against your will to say something or do something you said no to. So we got that. The guy now is a part of the investigation. He's got wiretap orders on him already. I think they're already setting up all that stuff. I don't know how that works. So that went out. This is the McNamara email of 2015. How many times have we quoted you since then? You're stupid that you don't understand what it means that we have this. Or that we talked about it all damn day. The pullovers. Take her car so we can traffic her. You shouldn't know what kind of car I drive. You only could know that through illegal means. You shouldn't know what kind of car I drive, Mr. Perry. To call the guy and give the description of my car. He goes, what's the make and model of her car? And we heard you tell him. So that's been recorded. The cops have that. The cops that gave me this McNamara email. We're going to false arrest her and coerce her. Then we heard you guys all day also talking about the murder frame up. Can't you get her on the murder frame up? Well, the girl that did it's too fat. Didn't y'all tell her to lose some weight? She did. And then Charles starved Cyndi, so she was like bag of bones. Then she could finally eat again, and she almost like overcompensating. She's put on a little weight, but still not like, it's not a lot of, it's a little weight. The other girl's still quite a bit bigger, quite a bit heavier than Cyndi. And the other problem is we still can't put her at the murder scene. We don't think she's even ever been there. You want to frame somebody, you got to be able to put him at the scene. Y'all ran all her friends off. You ran her family off. You ran off everybody she'd socialize with. So I have not one person I can go to and say, when you socialize with her, have you ever been to this location? And they can put her there at the scene. You guys said she's going to have some dumb public defender. It's not going to matter. And the guy said, I think it was Richard, you're the dumb. Have you looked at what she did on Mike's case? And she's got these guys helping her. She already knows what you're trying to do. You're trying to alter the other girl's hair color. You've been asking Cynthia her hair color. What color you dyeing your hair with? Wow. Does it matter? Why does it matter to you, strange person that ran up to me at a Quick Trip? I mean, she wanted the exact brand and color. And I'm just like, you get the fuck out of my face. Then I used a shampoo that helps kind of tone down the color. They stole that right out of my car with some other stuff after they stole everything I owned. So you're trying to alter evidence. When you have to alter evidence, dumb, like you destroy the arsenic in my system by preventing and delaying the reporting of the crime, no evidence collected. We went over it in yesterday's podcast. We've been over it and over it and over it and over it. You guys, it's so easy, it's not fair. When you did this false arrest, you were poisoning me. And I never got a blood test. And if you weren't poisoning me, you would have made sure I had a blood test and then done your drama queen press conference. See, we didn't poison her. She said we were poisoning her and we tested her and there's nothing there. But you knew there would be something there, so you made sure there was no test. Title 18, United States Code 1512, 1513, and any and all applicable state laws. Who got me this McNamara? We can tell there's something wrong with you, Mr. Perry, because you don't know what it means that we have that. You don't either, Robertson. All day long, you talked about framing me for a murder. All day long, you had talked about pulling me over and getting information on a car, but you have the description of my car, which you should not know. The allegations are felony stalking, human trafficking, coercion. My guy's like, he's tampering with my witness, and I'm pissed. So that guy that just followed you 4 blocks off the TU campus, we're going to put a wiretap on all of his phones, every single one of them. Every single one of those guys involved in planning this, because we did talk about it all fucking day. I typed up the email, and it was in last night's podcast. The guys that gave me that are going to charge you, he said, with about 20 things for that one event. You interfered with my commerce. You interfered with my contracts, because then I had to stop working and go home. You interfered with commerce. You interfered with my ability to pay contracts. You witness tampered. You harassed. You threatened. You intimidated. He had no business following me around like that. No one does. No one does. So there's I'm going to take her car. It's not legal, but I'm going to have it towed and sold before she figures that out. In August of 2019, you've been working that angle ever since. My car's been wrecked 5 times. We went over that in last night's podcast. Lucky complained about it. They said they wanted to get her on harassment. The thing is, they were calling us constantly, asking us to pull her over and get the information from her car and give it to them. Nobody has the legal right to take the information off of my car and give it to a guy accused of felony stalking and human trafficking. So, now, I'm going to say this one thing. This podcast is going to be short. It's just in follow-up to what you guys did today, talking about the murder frame-up. The doppelganger's too fat. David, if she has to change her hair color and you need me to tan because my skin's too light, hers is darker than mine, then you're altering evidence and you know good and well I didn't do it. So you're caught now. We've already talked about this, dum-dums. Everybody's getting very frustrated with your stupid. It's embarrassing. We have already talked about it over and over and over and over and over. And if you have Alzheimer's, that's your problem. You deal with it when you go to your trial. Okay? We're getting this stuff. We got that from somewhere. And you stupids act like you don't know what it means that we have that. Where it's so easy, it's not fair. We're like, oh my God. Frame her up for a murder. Can't you frame her up for the murder? She's catching our real crime. And we just don't know what to do. What are we going to do, Tulsa police? Please get us out of this one. Haven't they told you about 100 times we can't get you out of this one? There's nothing we can do. They won't call us back either. Didn't they tell you that? Didn't we hear them telling you that, David? Because normally they do. Normally, you got some guys over there, you get yourself in trouble, you call them, and they get you out of it, and this time they can't. And we told you that. Didn't I tell you that, David? Didn't I tell you that when you asked me, who's telling you everything? How did you find out? And you know, I'm not Wyatt Earp. I didn't come in here to mop up. Maybe you should just leave me the fuck alone, David. And you chose not to. Every time Charles contacts me, we get more. Just like this, before you do it, not after. We have this beforehand, not after. The same thing with this one. And the same thing with this one. And the same thing with, they drugged Mike Neely, he didn't do it. The same thing, they drugged Michael Neely, he didn't do it. What does it mean that we have that, you fucktards? What does it mean that we have that, you fucktards? What does it mean that we have this before, not after? We said Mike Neely was drugged months before that was confirmed in depositions. Charles Perry, you are rejected. You're such a cruel, creepy little fuck. Golly, why don't you have women just crawling all over you? Women are turned off by bitches like you. You're pathetic, you're weak, you're impotent, you're stupid, and you embarrass the hell out of everybody. Also, by the way, somebody commented, and I'm not going to confirm or deny this. All I'm going to say is everybody's running around. Who's the leaks? Who's the leaks? Oh my God. Who told on us? How'd she know about that? How'd she find out about that before, not after? How'd she know? Well, okay. Somebody said, I'll tell you one thing. They got a lot of young guys involved in this, and a lot of the Generation X and the Generation Y, they understand that it's cool to be more into the equality and the Me Too movement, and these creepy little fucks, they're looking at them like, look at all these old farts with no love life. I'm not going to end up like them. The guys that are helping Cynthia have real love lives. It's like Spyland. That's what I want to be like. That's what I want to do. This thing where she says, and remember, because you guys are stupid and I have to explain this, when I speak in the third person, I'm quoting another individual. That's another thing. They said John's never been so humiliated in his life because they had him testify to something he knew nothing about. She wasn't quoting a conversation between Charles Perry and him. She was quoting a conversation between Charles Perry and likely David Robertson or Calvin about calling John. So John's testifying to something he did not see, and he didn't catch that, and he feels bad. Wow. Kind of like we need to get her back on that pole and on the schedule, Calvin. We need to get her back to that car dealership. Get Mo to take her car away. That was in 2022. And then you got all mad because I typed it in an email and it went out. And then you guys were all like, Calvin was like, you can't trust anybody at that club, and you can't trust that Mo. And the guy goes, she's not quoting them, she's quoting you, dum-dum. Said that's what happened with John. I'm not going to give John's last name out because I feel for him. But what happened is John missed the fact that I wasn't quoting him. I was quoting Charles before they brought John in the loop even. What happens is Charles and Dave and Calvin and those guys, Lucius, they'll have their little meeting. And they sit there and plan a crime against me. And we get it. Now, sometimes when we get it, they don't do it. That stops right there. Sometimes they go ahead and get on the phone and make a bunch of phone calls and try to do it. Sometimes it stops at that level. Sometimes, like tonight, they'll just do it anyway. And then we're all like, well, we told you so. We did say. My guy's like, because we talked about this all damn day, and he has done this to you over and over and over, and he's been told to stop it. When I say something, I fucking mean it. I said her privacy is not to be invaded. You are not to contact her again. And she's not to be broke anymore. You little bitch. You little pathetic. So, when you don't, I promise you I'm going to get up your ass and get more so that we can get your butt in jail. And she's finally doesn't have to deal with this anymore. And the more I get beforehand, the easier it will be to get a conviction. I said stop it. So because I've told them stop it this how many times now, and I say it once, I won't call that bitch back because I say it one fucking time and that's it. And if you can't understand words and you're not going to respond to the verbal command of a police officer, I'm done with you. If I have to repeat myself, he goes, I'll flat hang up on people if I have to say it twice. I'm busy. I'm not a special education teacher any more than Cynthia is. We're busy. So, what happens is, when you did that tonight, I got about 20 charges. I'm going to charge every single person involved. Everybody. That guy's already got a wiretap order on him now. It's just a matter of getting the wiretap going. Already, he's fucked. You don't harass people. Whether you're a cop or... You don't harass people. You don't fucking harass people. Because some little prick called you up and said, that's my stalking victim. I'm trying to take her car away from her so that I can traffic her. She's easier to traffic with no car. So I'm gonna illegally access and illegally use DoorDash to have her go over there where you work. And when she pulls out of the parking lot or she pulls off onto the street, get her. And that's what you did, and we heard you, and we talked about it. We talked about it last night, and we talked about it today, before that happened. You can't do that. You're paying for it already in ways you never had before. We got this, Mr. Perry. Millions of dollars didn't cover up your crime. It brought it out. It's different when you do it to me. That guy said that. Maybe it's just me, but I'm seeing that it's quite different when they do it to her. Maybe that's why she calls him dumb all the time. Why she knows before and they still do it. That doesn't get any more dumb than that. Millions of dollars bought us intel. See? This right here. It's not legal, but I'm going to have our car towed and sold before she figures that out. This was Lucky Miller. We're tired of him calling us up, calling us. Get her pulled over. I need the information off her car. No, you're not supposed to have the information off her car. What do you need that for? Steve Massengale doesn't call up here and ask the cops to get the information off my car and give it to him. Why are you, stalker? Why are you always in Oklahoma? See, I moved twice to get away from you and never again have to hear what you think or what you feel and you need and you want. We only care about the victims, the Miller family, my children, me, Mike and Lisa and John Neely. That's all that matters. How do they feel about what you've done to us? How do we feel? That's my guys. My guy said, all we care about is how you guys feel about what Mr. Perry and Mr. Robertson and these guys have done to you. Nothing else matters. How they feel doesn't even factor into anything we do. The only thing that factors in is how did you feel about them using your phone and your DoorDash app to have that cop chase you down 3 blocks? How did that make you feel? Because that bothered us for you. How did it make you feel when he had Sky Motel's manager go in and scream and yell at you to get out and you couldn't take your stuff with you, by the way? And then if you go back, they would get in your car then. That's why I didn't go back. If you go back, all they've talked about is they went in there and they told those people when she comes back to get her stuff, you call us for taking her car. Okay? I just left it there. Because you can replace your clothes, but if you have to get a new car, it's a lot harder. So, I never went back. Who gave this to me, Charles? It's awfully specific to me. They gave it to me in jail. It wasn't up to you. Who got that from you to me, Charles? It was very specific as to what you intended to do. That was illegal. They want to know how I felt about that. Losing my home, having my mugshot smeared everywhere after being the victim of attempted murder and stalking. Why are you in Oklahoma? You know who's never here? Steve Massengale, John Steinmetz. Why are you here? Nobody invited you here. Why did you go introduce yourself to my family? Those two didn't. Why are you here? Why are you with my family? Yeah, you're making people very upset with you. Everybody's very, very sick of this. That's how we knew to talk about it all day, your attempted frame up of murder, and the girl that did it, that actually did the crime, it's quite a bit heavier than me. One lady said quite a bit bigger. Again, you used DoorDash to have me take some food to somebody, and immediately after I dropped it off, my guys go, listen to this. She's telling him that the woman she saw is bigger than you, quite a bit bigger. So they're still working this the murder frame up with that same chick. And then the guy asked you today, didn't you tell her to lose weight? We did. And she's lost some, but not enough. We heard you. Who's doing that? They won't call you back, will they? So we've got all this documented here today. And all that matters is, how do I feel that I have to go through that? That I can't even just go to work without you harassing me. In Oklahoma, where I live. You don't live in Oklahoma, Charles. Why are you always here? Steve Massengale's not here. John Steinmetz is not here. They're not calling the cops up here, asking them to pull me over and harass me for you, or get information they shouldn't. Nobody should have the make and model of my car to be able to give it to that TU guy. So when you guys get charged, he's going down with you. He is. Any cop that harasses me for you. Doesn't matter who it is, we don't care. You just don't act like that. You fucking don't act like that. So today the guy goes, I think maybe that we're dealing with some people that are Gen X, Gen Y, that don't think this is funny. They're looking at all these little old farts with money that are fucking weirdo and embarrassing to everybody and can't get a date. And they're like, yeah, I'm not going to end up like that. I'm not a weirdo. By the way, what's cool is equality in the Me Too movement. And Spyland, that's what's cool. What's she saying? Everybody's sick and tired of hearing, well, we've been doing it this way for 30 years. We've been fucking it up for 30 years. And they're seeing that, your criminal activity isn't really working for you. You keep getting caught. So we think maybe some of those guys are leaking because they don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. Why would anybody act like that? Maybe. I mean, I'm quoting somebody else's speculation. I'm not told who the leaks are, so I don't know who they are, how old they are. But what I will say is that we didn't have any problem getting them. We didn't have any problem getting them at all. You're weirdos. You're fucking weirdos, all of you. This thing out at my club with the, the scripts and the role playing, wow, that went over like oh my God, the weirdo. Oh my God, the fucking weirdo shit these guys do. Oh, how embarrassing. So a lot of people, they're looking at how you are right now in your lives. Mr. Perry sits around on his fat, lazy ass playing with little girl toys, watching TV, pretending. He has no real love life. There's no woman trying to sit with him and hold his hand, fucking want a protective order against him. I mean, he's pathetic. He embarrasses me. He's strange. He's weird. And he's cruel. And I don't like any of that. No woman does. No, that's all turn off to a woman. I said, I don't go out with a man if he peeps. And if he can't respect boundaries. And if he won't leave me the fuck alone when I ask him to. And I'm not going to go out with a man unless he makes sure I don't miss a meal. And Charles runs around, I'm going to starve her till she lies. I'm going to make her destitute until she lies. Gosh, why don't you have women just flowing themselves at you? So everybody's watching your outcomes and ours. We quote you every day. We quote you every fucking day. While you sit on your fat ass being a pathetic little pussy who thinks it's cute to make women destitute until they lie. My guy said to you in March 2020, at no time did she ever have to lie. The guy that got me this before you did it. At no time did she ever have to lie. She doesn't have to be trafficked. You get the fuck out of her life. Her privacy is not to be invaded. You don't contact her, and she's not to be broke. Respect the law. Respect her, or I'm going to kick your criminal ass like it has never been kicked before. And right now, you've got millions of dollars you've paid for a cover-up that bought us intel. You're paying for it in ways you've never had to before. We get the information beforehand, not after. Mike was drugged. Betancourt, Oscar, Sonjay, Beverly, Renee, Ruben, James, Dicky, Richard, Oscar. I already said Oscar. Calvin, Geppetto, Lucius. Who are those people, Charles? Who's the Muffin Man? Who's Monique and where is she right now? What does it mean that we have that, sir? Dum dum. You're not hot. You're not sexy. You're repulsive to women. You disgust me. You disgust everybody. We can get the information at the snap of a finger before, not after. That's what your millions of dollars have bought you. Bought us intel. Because you don't have a cover-up and you can't get a date because you're spooky to women. So, we got all that. So, yeah, I would venture to guess there's probably a lot of people that have watched you guys, how you've ended up in your old age by yourselves. You don't have a real love life. Our guys do. And you're the ones getting told on all the time. And they probably don't. And you're weirdos. And they don't want to be weirdos. I'm not going to be a weirdo and end up like them. We're Gen X. We do that. We're all into the. It's popular to be equal. It's popular. The Me Too movement's wildly popular. What planet are you on? They got dates. You don't. I'm going to end up like them, not you. So, yeah, I'll help any way I can. I don't like cruelty. No normal person likes your cruelty. Okay, so we got that, and we got your millions bought us all this. Okay? It's not up to you. It was never up to you. We have stuff nobody else has. I have stuff no other victim has. You talked about the murder frame-up all fucking day. I thought you guys told her to lose weight. We did, and she lost some, but not enough. Right? And you guys ran our friends off. So now she doesn't socialize. I have no way to put her at the scene. She's not been there. I've not been to the scene, I can tell you that, ever. What I do is get up, go to work. Sometimes I can't go to work because you do stuff like little stunts like you did tonight. Or use the DoorDash order and have this lady order and get around the algorithm that chooses drivers randomly. We know because we hacked her phone, illegally accessed and used the phone, the electronic device. And then when she goes to take the food, immediately we hear y'all talking to her. And she says, well, she's too... The one I saw was quite a bit bigger. And she said something else about the hair being too coarse. I think she was talking about mine. Hair's too coarse. So we hear all that. Because you guys fucking got a bunch of wiretap orders or some shit. Okay, so all of that, your millions bought us. Wasn't up to you. When you piss me off, you piss them off. I wouldn't piss me off again if I were you. You're seeing things happen you've not seen before. It's different when you do it to me. But it's the same every time you do it. Dum-dum. He said, don't invade her privacy, don't contact her, she's not to be broke. Period. You thought you had a choice. This, we got all that was obtained after March 2020. Charles. You embarrassed the hell out of me. I wouldn't walk in a room with you for millions. You're a fucking weirdo. So when you have leaks, I would say the chances are high. You got a lot of people of any age that look at you and go, I'm not going to end up like them. And they're weirdo. They don't have a real love life. These other guys do. And Me Too movement and equal, gender equal stuff is very popular. Especially with Gen X and Gen Y. You just fucking, you're off in left field if you're not into equality and the Me Too movement. Literally. You're fucking hillbilly. So people don't want to end up like you doing what you do. They want to end up like our guys doing what they do. We're the cool kids, and you're excluded. So we got all that. That's why you got to buy a date. You're pathetics. Okay, so we got all that. Wasn't up to you. It was up to cops that know what they're doing. Okay. How do we get it? How do we get it, Blankenship? How did I get that, Blankenship? Don't roll your eyes. I bet you guys will roll. Well, but we're producing the results and you're not. How do we get it? We're producing the results and you're not. The goal is they're in jail and we don't have to deal with this anymore. This one right here I've talked about getting pulled over again. I talked about it and talked you can't use. And then we also heard Matt Powell again today calling for my, can we not get her address and get her served? We got to shut her up. I've really got to shut her up. So I've not been told if something has actually been filed or it's going to be filed. But Mr. Powell, you've been asking for my address for years. Get a fucking life, dude. No one's doing anything to you at all. Have you considered how the victims feel? Have you considered how you made Michael Neely feel when you played a part in keeping me from testifying for him? Have you considered how his son feels having to do without because his dad's in prison and his mom is working her ass off to try to take care of him by herself? See, you guys don't matter. To our people, the victims matter, and how do they feel from what you've done to us? Not how do you feel because you got caught. Nothing. You don't matter. We do. We're getting the intel. You are not. We heard you all damn day. Mr. Powell, I'm going to tell you for the last fucking time, you may not use taxpayer-funded resources of Oklahoma for your personal bullshit. Now, whatever you did in that courtroom, or are going to do in that courtroom, our guys are a little privy to it, because I guess you've talked about it. They're going to put you in jail for that, because it's fraud. Okay? So, you serving me with your fraud is not a priority for anyone but you. And if I were you, I'd think really long and hard before you actually do that. Because once it gets into my hands, you're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. We're getting this stuff. You guys are not. We're getting it before you do it, not after. Okay, next two things I'm going to really quickly review. Mr. Perry and Mr. Robertson, I told you this when it was happening. I'm going to tell you again. You either get it or you don't. We're not special ed teachers. We do not have a bunch of puppets and little crayons out for you. You're going to have to hire some professional. We say it one time. If you fuck it up after that, that's your problem. Okay? So, the guy that is over me is literally like the female version of Miranda Priestley on The Devil Wears Prada, and he's like, you're a little bit like that too. That's why we get along so well. Next. Do the thing, go on. Do the thing, no. I mean, we don't say it twice, ever. And if we have to say it twice, you're on the shit list for good. You're done. We're done with you. We're fucking done with you. We've had to say it for you guys over and over. Charles, when you contact me, we always get more. Charles, when you contact me, Creepy Chucky, we always get more intel before you do it, not after. You're not going to get a date with me, you rejected fail. Charles, when you contact me, we always get more before you do it, not after. Charles, when you contact me, we always get more before you do it, not after. Charles, you're not going to get a date with me, Creepy Chucky. You're embarrassed the hell out of me. See, how many times did I have to say that? Yeah. You disgust me. You're creepy. I said stop contacting me, and that's what I mean. I moved 2 times to never have to hear what you think again. So not have to be involved in your drama. You're too creepy, and you make too many problems, and everybody wants you gone. That's why we get it at the snap of a finger. And nobody will tell you how, or who's getting it, or any of that. Nobody will help you. Nobody's ever going to help you. Nobody has ever helped you. Everybody just is sick and tired of you. You're a fucking weirdo. Okay? Nobody invited you here. Take your weirdo and go home to your family. Take your weirdo and go fucking home to your family. No one is going to help you. No one ever has. They're helping us. We get the information at the snap of a finger, more so when you contact me. You know why? They told you to stop that. Stop acting that way. Stop. Okay. So, what we said is that there's a forensic accountant involved. He pays very close attention to what's happening and how much money I have when it's happening. He's got a calendar and he makes all that out. Because he's trying to make a coercion case. At the time we were talking about Terry Wagner. What he does with his money when he comes into the club, like, maybe not a good idea to go to a strip club on the night your wife dies. Okay, so, based on what's going on and what you need, dictates what kind of money I have. we're paying very close attention to that. If it's consistent, they don't have a case. If it fluctuates based on whether or not you think I'm doing what you want, or you're trying to get me to do what you want, or you're trying to, by either bribery or pulling money back, you got a problem. They got a case. So, I'm going to tell you that for the last time. You either get it or you don't. The other thing he said is, we've got a hypothesis based on what the bouncer said, that Manda is their drug dealer, because you don't get a drug addict who never shows up for work and the money's short all the time, and make that the waitress when you have a much better alternative. Any policeman anywhere is going to say that doesn't even make sense. So we're going to put that out, and we're going to sit back and wait and see what they do. If she's still there, she's their drug dealer. If they change that and they do what makes sense for the club, and you go back to your job as a waitress, then she's not. I don't have a case. Just like, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They track everything you do, and they put certain things out strategically. Based on your response, you either confirm the hypothesis or you don't. It's been so easy, it is not fair. That's all I'm going to say. It has been so fucking easy, it is not even fucking fair. Okay, everything is documented here, Mr. Perry. Everything you've done for the past decade, that you spent a lot of money, millions of dollars to cover up the crime, has done nothing but buy us intel. You got a lot of people watching you guys. You are old farts. You're all by yourselves, and you keep getting told on, and we keep getting more intel before you do it, not after. And you got a lot of people do not want to end up like you. They don't. I'm sorry. The Me Too movement is wildly popular. Equality and no gender discrimination. No discrimination of any kind. Also popular. And if you don't get that, you're hillbilly. So, yeah, especially with the younger kids, you might see that happen. They're like, yeah, I'm not ending up like those old farts all alone. Everybody thinks they're a bunch of weirdos. I'm not going to be a weird like them and end up like them. So if somebody comes around and they want to, I get to participate in Spyland, dude, I'm in. Okay, so you're I'm sorry, but you're up against that. And again, I'm not sure. I'm not told who the leaks are. I don't know ages. I don't know. But somebody's made that speculation, and just logically, I can't disagree. So there's your disclaimer. And, yeah, people think it's way more cool to catch a bad guy before they do the crime than to go act like a bunch of fucking weirdos and they're all alone. And here's your script. Let's do a role play. Jesus. That's what cops are supposed to do when they get a police report, not chase victims of crime around and stalk too. You're in trouble for felony stalking, Mr. Perry, Mr. Robertson. You should know my car, make and model, to call it into the TU cop, and we heard you do it. So when I pull out of the parking lot, my guy goes, there he is right there. There's your guy. There's your boy right there. Sit right where you're at. Don't move. So I'm sitting there, and he goes, he's not going, is he? And I go, no, he's just sitting there. And he goes, just stay there for a minute. Just hang tight, just for a minute. So I wait, and then I pull out, and I go, nope, he's following me. He pulled out too. Waited, and okay, I'm sure you can figure out why he had me do that. Sat there and watched him too. Okay, so this is the use of technology to stalk women. You are illegally accessing an electronic device and illegally using that same electronic device. So, my guy said one last time. Okay, dum-dum. Title 18 of the United States Code 1512 and 1513 does apply to you too, princess. Why don't you take your dress off, put your little doll down, and go home to your family? And then there won't be anything else to tell. Cuckoo bird, you're getting on everybody's last nerve. Everybody's sick of this. So we found out all that stuff before you did it, not after. Beforehand, not after. We get it beforehand, sir, not after. Understand those words, Mr. Perry? Get a special ed teacher. One time, my guy's like, he wants to call me and fire you. Well, here's the thing. I say it once. I've already told him, get out of her privacy and fuck off. I don't know how many different ways I can say. I've already said it. I'm not going to let him waste my time on the phone with the bullshit. Can I just be candid with you? I'll make it worth your while. Yeah, he goes, if I have to hear that one more time, I'll barf. So, there's the disclaimer, and we got all of this. This is all the stuff we got, Mr. Perry, that the millions that you paid for your cover-up bought us intel. We got it before, not after. You're paying for this in ways you have never had to pay before. You know why? Because normal people see you like this.
Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men. Leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. And you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
Charles, I don't go out with peeping toms. There will never be a date. You've done... I don't go out with cop killers. But even if there weren't that, just the peeping alone is such a turnoff to women. There's no fucking way. And I've told you and told you and told you, I don't like it. Stop it. I don't like your contact. You're creepy. I don't like being hacked. Get the fuck out of my phone. So if ever you really wanted a date with me, you wouldn't do all that. There's a reason it's illegal. You're a fat fucking turnoff. There will never be a date. Everybody's sick of you. That's how we get the information at the snap of a finger, and nobody will help you. They never have, they never will. Everybody wants you to go the fuck away. You either get that or you give us more intel until your arrest. You're going to jail. You're doing things that are wrong morally, they're wrong legally, and you're infringing on the rights of other people, and we're tired of it. Everybody's sick of you. Leave everybody the fuck alone. Now, in response to your, I'm going to starve you until you lie, or I'll buy you. I'll buy a lie. And the guy said to you in March 2020, she at no time has to lie. She at no time has to be trafficked. You get out of her privacy. You get your hands out of her wallet. You don't contact her or her family at all ever again. You're breaking the law. You stop. And if you can't do it by yourself like a big boy, I'll do it for you. And subsequent to that, we got all that intel. We got everybody's names. We got all your code words. So when you thought you had a choice, you did not. He will fucking do it for you. He already is. All the millions of dollars you spent for a cover-up bought us all those people's names. Oscar, Geppetto, Calvin, Blankenship, Desiree, Nesbitt, Betancourt, all the names. And your code words, you know, Muffin Man and Rumpelstiltskin and Papa John's and all. We got all that. And then today, the talking about the murder frame-up. Today, we talked about, you know, Matt calling up here. I got to get her address, get her served. And you're you know, calling in the pullover. You should not know the make and model of my car. Steve Massengale does not have that because he doesn't care. He's not stalking. Why are you in Oklahoma and why do you know it? You know, how many I told you so's did you want to give us before you even get arrested and go to trial? That is the intent. I don't care what bullshit story you tell yourself. That is the intent. You're infringing on the rights of other people in such a way that blows lives up. And we'll never get over it. And you don't get to do that. I don't care who you think you are. It's very sad and pathetic that you've lived your life like that. A lot of people aren't want, we don't have problems getting information because apparently there's people looking at y'all going, they're the weirdos. And I'm not going to be weirdo and end up like them. All alone, all shriveled up, all old, and told on. And rejected. I want to end up with a real person who really cares about me because I treated them right. You don't treat women right, you're not going to have one.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't.
Yep, got been raping you.
Leave
Get the fuck out of my phone.
me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
Yep, got been raping you.
Leave me alone.